Obviously, you saw the recent videos on all those new Samsung devices. They've been taking over the airwaves. Of course, I'm talking about the S20, S20 Plus, and well, the Ultra, and then the Flip, and it's a lot to take in. It's so much to take in that there's a product here that kind of went overlooked. That's the Buds Plus. Supposedly some kind of improvement over the previous version. I've selected an S20 Plus to be the companion. Look at that, look how pretty those are together. I've also got the old version on the table so we can run a quick comparison. So we have 11 hours of playtime, triple mics for clear voice calls, and Qi compatible wireless charging. Well, that was the cool feature. Obviously, they've been showing it off for a while since the previous version. You pop them onto the back of your phone with the reverse wireless charging and the wireless charging Qi compatible on the earbuds. Of course, there's also the AKG affiliation, as you can see on the package. In fact, they write it on the case as well to remind you. If you're unfamiliar with AKG, they've been making headphones for, you know what? Somebody looked that up. I bet you AKG's been making headphones for at least 50 years, but it's probably longer. It's a German company.
It's founded in 1947.
47. Think of Sennheiser in the same realm. I think we can say that they're at least somewhat happy with the output, with the final product, because they're putting their badge on it. So you notice straight away that the case, quite a bit different from the previous version in color. Look at that combination right there. That's a look. They went from a matte style plastic to, I would say this looks a little bit more premium. Otherwise, the form factor is identical to the previous version of Galaxy Buds. You open up the door like this. You see the LED on the inside as well. Each of the earbuds is labeled left and right so you know where to place them. The outside of the earbud has the same kind of pearlescent, almost color shifting, reflective type of look that the phone has if you happen to get the phone in the same color. A similar pearl effect, but a lot more white. What colors are the new version going to be available in, Will?
White, blue, and black.
Okay, so they're listed at 20 bucks more, and they do look different actually, website. So they had more colors on the old version because they had that yellow. So the blue is probably the most exciting. You'd expect to see white and black. A lot of people are upset with Apple that they don't offer more colors out the gate on AirPods like Samsung does. Of course, you can spend a fortune. You probably shouldn't, but you can spend a fortune if you need to have black AirPods and have colorware paint them. And they did a tremendous job if you choose to go that route. We have some interchangeable ear tips. So one of the benefits here of going with an in-ear style, there's these ear hooks and then the actual tips. And there's 3 sizes for each. Also in the package, you have your Type-C to Type-A connector to charge these up. But you're probably gonna wanna use that wireless charge share. You're gonna wanna show off how you can do that. All right, so I think what we're gonna do here is just do a refresh on the original version of the Galaxy Buds so I can do a 1-2 comparison. So let's pop open these ones first. There they are. The benefit of the ecosystem, much like AirPods. Okay. Now again, it's an in-ear style, so it's going to isolate you from your environment. You get this app to go with it. It gives you control over the earbuds. You can select these different equalization settings, your notifications, the touchpad on the side. Maybe most importantly for me, you can toggle the ambient sound on and off. It's actually feed in external sound into the earbud. So since it is an isolating design, you might feel closed off from the world in certain circumstances. I talked about this when I looked at these the first time. Go with like halfway, you could sort of hear your surroundings, all the way up to having those microphones pump straight in. Anyway, that's cool. Let's give it a listen. I mean, look, it's not gonna blow your head off. They sound good. They're commensurate with the AirPods Pro, I would say, somewhere in that territory. It's not blowing you away. So I'm gonna put these away and try the new version now. All right, we're gonna pair up the Plus. I would think the apps would look the same, but they actually look a little bit different here. You trigger the ambient sound here, and you have 3 selection points: high, medium, and low for ambience. You have your selection for touchpad settings, You have advanced settings for using ambient sound during calls. You have the Find My Earbuds feature. So everything's packed in there, but they just changed the layout ever so slightly. Fit is basically the same. You're talking about 150 bucks. It's obviously not as expensive as the AirPods Pro, but I'm just talking about the form factor with the ear tips and fitting. It's an in-ear style as opposed to a typical earbud. I'll use the exact same track. Straight away in the dynamic setting, I would say the bass, there's a little more bass representation compared to the original version. You know what? The ambient sound might have some level of improvement to it. There's a little more fidelity to my own voice. Jack, you want to say something?
Test, hello.
Interesting. If you own the first version, you're probably not gonna rush out and upgrade considering how much you likely paid for these. If there is any sound improvement, maybe it's a little bit more low end, maybe slightly more volume. It's not substantial, it's not significant. But of course, it's important to remember the magic trick of either of these earbuds. And that happens through wireless power share. You just enable that and then we can pop on. And you can hear they're charging up. You can see there's the orange light. And that's a good look. I mean, you look at that, right? I mean, the combination. Let's go ask Will what he thinks.
I mean, I gotta get the new.
You just gotta get the new one. Yeah, it's not enough of a price discrepancy. So there's two outer mics now instead of one. I would say that makes a difference when I was turning on the ambience, especially to max power. Playtime, 11 hours versus 6. That's substantial. Battery life with the charge case, 22 versus 13. Now they're roughly the same size, so did they get tremendously more power efficient? 3-minute charge for 60 minutes of play. Kirk, do you agree? You probably agree with that.
Well, for me, it's a fit thing because I mostly listen to music while I'm like running or being active. The one thing I really don't like about the AirPods is when you're like running or something, you can feel them wiggling around.
You're talking about regular AirPods, right?
Oh. It's
Aggressive.
also, one of my canals is bigger than the other, so.
We talking about your canals?
Yeah, we're talking about my canals.
But anyway, yeah, get the Plus, get the improved battery life, shake your head around like Kirk, keep your canals to yourself. All right, so before we go, this was heavily requested in the comments section of a previous video. We were showing off this little guy, the Soda Pop speaker. So many people said a thing that we totally should have done in the video and we thought of, but we didn't do it in the moment, so we followed up because that's what we do. We're here for you. We listen. Essentially, you connect this to any bottle and you get this enhanced sound. So we showed this off in the original video and then everybody said, hey man, what about a glass bottle? And maybe more importantly, what about a 2-liter bottle? And it was a great question. So we have a 2-liter Sprite bottle so that we can come back with those, so we can get some more Sprite tunes, even bigger Sprite tunes.
DJ Sprite tunes.
DJ Sprite tunes. I mean, yeah, that's probably gonna happen now. Someone should do that name. You'd probably get sponsored by Sprite, or Sprite would be very upset. Let's do the test real quick. We have the original Sprite bottle so that we can do an ABC. We can do a comparison. That's the official Sprite tunes right there. We were all impressed for what it is, for what it was. And all right, next up, let's do the glass. See if we hear anything different. I would say similar. But the last one, the real one that people had to question about, what if you get a much bigger chamber? So to be clear, this original 500 milliliters, this is 2 liters. So we're talking about 4 times the size. It's basically the same. Yeah, I guess there's only so much output here. I don't hear much difference at all by going up to a 2-liter bottle. So there you have it. I mean, we did the experiment. We did it for you, but it turns out you're not gonna get anything better out of a 2-liter bottle than you are out of a 500 ml if you happen to get one of these soda pops. It's still very cool, but maybe it's a good thing. As long as you got one of these, you're in good shape. No need to go bigger.